Alright, everybody out there in TV land, I haven't done this before, so it's experimental, but Mr. Hollowpoint is going to attempt to make some jerky. Alright, I got 3 different meats. Learned that from wrestling. 3. We got a bag of goat meat from the goat that we shot over there at Uncle Ted's Hacienda. Got some deer shoulder, and I got some pork from another pig that we shot. So these have been marinating all week in my Hawaiian recipe, which I get from my good friend Dwayne Hashida on the Grand Island of Oahu. It's mostly the Kikkoman soy sauce teriyaki marinade, which is kind of something like this. Because the wife has celiacs, I get the gluten-free version, because she can't have anything with soy in it, because soy's got gluten, so we get the gluten-free version so she can chew on it. Brown sugar, garlic, onions, and I heat it all up in the pot, melt all the brown sugar down. It's kind of your choice on how much of each. Cool it down, then I put it in the bags and I let it marinate. So now what I'm going to wind up doing is all this stuff has to be ground. And all the videos I've watched and the books I've read usually do a double grind on fine. So they grind it once on large and then they grind it again on the fine. Most of them are using a mix-in dry recipe where they do that and it sets, helps bind the meat together. I'm not doing that. Like I said, all that stuff has got mystery chemicals and a lot of it's got wheat in it, and we have to be gluten-free when you got celiacs or you wind up being hospitalized on a regular. So with that said, I'm going to get started grinding these independently because my goal is to have goat jerky, deer jerky, and pork jerky, and then stop that, guys, I'm videoing, and then have kind of a combination where I've just mixed them together almost like a gyro jerky. So that's what we're going to deal with, or at least I'm going to attempt. Got no clue if it's going to work, but we're going to try it anyways. So well, let's do the deer meat first. Again, like I said, I've never done this before, so I'm kind of using the same recipe I used when we were smoking. So we'll see how that works out. It may just be a waste, but we'll give it. The videos did say that the wetter the mix, the thinner your jerky is. So let's see what happens. Okay, so that was the deer meat. I got to do it 3 more times with everything else. Okay, so I single and double ground the deer shoulder and some assorted goat meat shoulder, bits, pieces, legs, so on. I already single ground the pork, now I'm going to double ground it. I've just skipped a lot of that because, you know, I'm just grinding meat. There's nothing fancy or special about it. I know some of you guys are asking, you know, Mr. Hollowpoint, how can you do all this and get away with it making a mess? It's like, well, works out good is Mrs. Hollowpoint is a very understanding person, and what really helps is if your mother-in-law is really needy, because then she's always gone. So she's over at her mother's right now, which allows me to do all this without being told, you know, you're making a mess. That's unsanitary. The cat licked it. So, with that said, we're going to go ahead and finish double grinding the pork and get rolling on the next process. And just to reiterate, the double grind is with the fine plate. Okay, I already single ground with the coarse. Now I'm doing the second grind with the fine because we want all the fibers broken down. Alright guys, so I just finished double grinding the pork. Okay, so I'm going to clean this, take it away, and then we're going to start the other good stuff. The thing. Okay, we're going to do the thing. What do you call it? It's the thing, the jerky thing. You guys keep picking on me for. I don't speak jerky. Okay, so get all the drippage off of this poor little fella. Now this is, you know, I'm not going to go into details on stuff, but this is just the El Cheapo Cabela's grinder. I don't even know what horse model it is, but let's put it this way. It was $99 and I had a like a 30% off coupon or something. It was already on sale, so I don't think I paid like $54 for this. It came with a, you know, couple of grinding blades and then the sausage stuffer gadget that goes on it. So that was about it. So, you know me, Mr. Hollowpoint's a frugal individual. So here's the jerky gun, that's what it's called. This is a LEM jerky gun. I've got the wide blade on it because I want to make the strips. And what's nice about this is I picked it up at the thrift store for $2, brand new, never used. 2 snaps and a thumbs up. Loving it. I got these. I think my holes are slightly too big, but I picked these up on Amazon. 2-pack was, I don't know, $12 or something. And okay, just came back from Goodwill because let me show you my idea. Okay, this is my idea, just like the Hollowpoints were my idea. These nutsacks out there start to steal my idea. We know who it is. So I'm using my little electric smoker instead of food dehydrator because I like doing things different. I'm going to goof around. So my idea is to cover this, you know, with the strips of the stuff, and then put these on, another layer, strips of stuff, jerky that is, put these on. Oh, and I did clean these, by the way. These only cost me $1 a piece at the thrift store. And do another layer. That way, I can get layers, a little air going through with the smoke around the jerky. Whether it works, I don't know. Am I wasting my time? I don't know. Okay? How does a posi track rear end on a Ford work? I don't know. But that's what I'm doing. So I got these, I think these are candle holders. I was looking for shot glasses because that's what my wife, Mrs. HP, said. Use shot glasses, they take up less space. But for one reason, all the darn Goodwills I went to and thrift stores were out of shot glasses. So I got several sizes of these Voltive candle holders, and that's what we're going to work with. That's what we're going to deal with. So whether it works out good, I don't know. I'll do the racks individually, and then we'll go out and kind of stack them, you know, one at a time out there. So, because otherwise, I'll just dump everything on the floor, and then I'll start using language that'll put me definitely. I won't be going to heaven with that type of talk. So, let's pause for station identification and get our stuff together. Now, I know the lighting's not the greatest in here, so I don't know, I'll try to work this way, so the shadows. So all the videos I've seen talk about keep one hand dry and one hand for wetness. And they all said to make life simple, make little balls and shake them down in versus trying to jam the thing full of stuff. Now, I'm not using the dry mix, which apparently starts to turn into glue. So I'm just making these little turd burglars here out of the pork. Now this is just a pork. Since it was already out here, I'm going to try the pork. See what happens. yeah, I've never done this, so, you know, I don't know anything about salmonella, food poisoning, or anything else. This is just my attempt at doing something here. Okay, so that's my wet hand. I got this kind of stuffed from over here, paper towel, so I'm not getting the equipment gooey. This kind of, there we go. And let's see, so I don't want to touch that. I gotta push this so this can go down. There we go. Turn that tight. Stop crying over there. Can't you see that I'm in the midst of videoing? And I guess just like a regular caulk gun, there's a, whoop, don't do that, get back here. And you have to somehow pinch it off. Haha, you got to pinch your loaf. Okay. You know, I honestly don't know if these are too thick. So, there's a pork. Now what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to take it downstairs and throw it in the freezer so it sets up. And then, I'll just be able to flip it on here when we go to do our stuff. So I'm going to have to worry about it falling apart or anything. So, again, will it work? I don't know, but that's what we're going to try. Alright, so let's see what we can do. Alright, all you jerky lovers out there in Hollowpoint land. The meat was falling apart too much last night, so as you saw what I did earlier, I wound up doing the wax paper routine. Hope I got it on the right side. So I threw this in the freezer. It can be the fridge or the freezer. Modern fridges and freezers have a drawing or a air recirculatory system, so it draws moisture out of the air. It keeps it from freezing out. So by leaving these in there, it actually did stiffen them up a bit. I've got the smoker going out back. I plugged it in, got the wet water chips in there. I'll show you that when we get out there. Oh, it's 7 a.m. I am tired. We were up late last night, but as you can see, the place is clean. I didn't get beat up by Mrs. Hollowpoint, and we're going to continue as we go along. I'll keep my eye on the cats. No one. What are you guys doing over there, you monkey? Alright, now that we got the meat frozen, we're going to peel it on the wax paper and start getting it on the grates. Kind of pre-checking it how we're going to put it in. Let's look at that. This first sheet is the half pork and half goat meat. And oh, by the way, last night we had made some burgers with the straight up teriyaki pork, and it was the bomb, baby. It was really delicious. Again, I hope I'm loud enough. You know, I don't smoke, but I certainly feel like a smoker with my asthma and allergies. Well, this isn't making too much noise, but we had a bunch of leftover pork because I had more pork than anything else. I actually thawed out way too much. And okay, so this is the goat. And let's see, this is the goat pork mix. So this would go. Really, this would be my second from the bottom, I guess. I'm trying to figure out how this is going to balance, because I've got to remember the layers how I do this. So, let's see. My idea was pork on the bottom, since it's the fattiest. then the goat, the pork goat, the goat, and then the deer. I guess that's how we can wind up. It's going to wind up working. And I said this is just going to be playing around because I've never done this before, and kind of the goal would be once I get each rack, you know, in the freezer or in the smoker, then the next rack would sit like this. So I'm going to position all the racks first. So this is the start. Okay, we'll keep coming back. Okay, this is the Mr Hollowpoint 6-tier meat rack smoker jerky station idea. Of course, it's like a house of cards. I can't carry the whole thing like that. I'll have to take it out a couple of pieces at a time and assemble it in the cooker. And that's what we're going to do right now. All right. Now we're out here, guys. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. About 32 degrees. I always use a smoking blanket because I can be out here in -20, and this maintains the heat. It allows me to get the temperature where I want it and to keep it. The idea with this is low and slow. So I got my apple wood. Cherry. I'm using cherry today. And we're going to bring the racks out, and I'm going to experiment on how they're going to go in. I'll just leave that like that. And then we'll... Alright, let's button this up. So, just to remember, we got pork, goat, deer. Alright. My goal temperature, I know regular dehydrators are about 120 degrees, so this is on low. It's smoking nicely. Let's see if we can get some smoke encapsulating all around that meat, and we'll come back and check it in a bit. Now if you're wondering what I got here, this is just a little L Smoky Mountain series. It's just a little $70 with coupon electric smoker, 110 volt, watt, whatever, electric, just standard house current. For this blanket, it's like $24. You know, looks like a puffy envelope material. This really insulates and keeps the heat in. I'm really happy with it. You got to cut and trim, you know, or cut the slots, but it really keeps that, you know, instead of just burning through it constantly, it just keeps that heat where you want it. So that's it for now. We'll come back in a bit. I really don't know how long to keep it in there. You know, different videos have different timelines, but we'll see what happens. It's been about 2 hours, 9:30 to 11:30. We've had this smoking, and I'm just going off what friends have told me. The temperature has slowly risen to 200, so it's been slowly rising over the past 2 hours. We'll take off the old space blanket, insulated heater, open it up. Ooh, a lot of drainage, a lot of drippage. Break me off a little piece of deer. That is cooked. That is cooked. Little dry. Little teriyaki. Drop a little bit of goat. Nice cooked through. A little bit of pork. That is cooked through. So, again, it's a little crumbly. But we didn't put any mix in it. Just the gluten-free teriyaki sugar mix talked about earlier. Oh my. That is really good. That is really good. So, I'm going to pull these out and let them cool off, and then we'll box them up. Or bag them up. From the field, through the Hollowpoint, to the smoker. I think we batted 1,000. Next time around, I will try a different mix, but I have to really make sure I get a gluten-free, and we got to double check that, because they slip flour and everything as a thickening agent, so we always have to check. Excellent. Thank you, little Smoky Mountain series. I'll lay these out. We'll get a few pictures. I want to thank my good friend in Hawaii, Dwayne Hashida. Dwayne has been really working with me on just floating me all sorts of family secrets and recipes. I really appreciate that. It's always nice to have a starting point and someone who's done it before and fed basically thousands off their smoked meat. So I appreciate it, Dwayne. Love you, Bob. Things that I do when I'm vacuum packing, maybe just from growing up in the city and always, thinking safety first, is after I vacuum and seal it, I'll seal it a second time across that extra little spot. Whether or not it's really needed, I don't know, but I do it anyways. Just like we always lock the door in the house and the cars and everything regardless. When you live in an area where home invasions and carjacking is a daily occurrence, and the government does nothing about it, you just have a tendency to try to be overthinking. So there is some sealed jerky, or my attempt at it. So that was Deer, November 2018. Oh, you might get this in a box of bullets. Merry Christmas!